We will start the press conference by Foreign Minister Iwaya. I have two reports to make at the outset. Today, I had a meeting with Foreign Minister Green of Antigua and Barbuda, who is visiting Japan as a guest of the Osaka Kansai Expo, and a meeting with Foreign Minister Herat of Sri Lanka, who is visiting Japan accompanying Sri Lankan President Dissanayake. First, at the Japan, Antigua and Barbuda Foreign Ministers meeting, discussions focused on strengthening bilateral relations and cooperation with Antigua and Barbuda, which is a friendly nation sharing values and principles with Japan, towards overcoming the vulnerabilities of island nations and achieving sustainable development. The two sides also confirmed our commitment to enhance cooperation to maintain and strengthen a free and open international order based on the rule of law. And next, at the Japan-Sri Lanka Foreign Ministers meeting, the two sides confirmed our cooperation toward achieving regional stability and prosperity, including the provision of unmanned aerial vehicles to Sri Lanka under the first OSA, Official Security Assistance Program, recently decided. We also exchanged views on regional situations, including responses to North Korea and cooperation in international forums. Moving forward, under the comprehensive partnership, we will continue to work together across a wide range of fields to realize a free and open Indo-Pacific, or FOIP. So that's all from me.
So if anyone has a question, please raise your hand, and once you are appointed upon, please go to the microphone near you and state your name and affiliation. NHK Kawamura-san, please. Kawamura from NHK. So I have a question concerning the UN sanctions to Iran. The UN sanctions to Iran will be reapplied, and there are concerns that Iran will continue to, in secret, develop nuclear weapons, and therefore dialogue with Iran will be increasingly important. So what will be Japan's stance in maintaining the momentum towards dialogue? Now, concerning the nuclear issues of Iran, it is a very important turning point. Now, we believe that it is very important to resolve the Iran issue through dialogue. So we must not allow the momentum of dialogue to be lost. On September 23rd in New York, myself and Iran Foreign Minister Araghchi had a meeting, and at that time as well, as I mentioned, through dialogue, to resolve issues through dialogue, I've said that is important. There is room for diplomacy, so through dialogue we would like to resolve issues. I strongly requested that to him, and we will continue close communication. Now here, the importance of diplomacy need to be emphasized, I believe. Now, vis-a-vis Iran, the Security Council resolution is going to be reapplied, and this has to be appropriately implemented. Based on the relevant safeguard agreement obligations, we will continue to request that they resume immediately the complete cooperation with IAEA. The peace and stability, as well as the maintaining non-proliferation regime within the Middle East, is extremely important. And not only the implementation of the Security Council resolution, but together with the international society, we will continue to make all diplomatic efforts.
Next question. Ryuku Shimpo Takagi-san. I'm from Ryukyu Shimpo. I have a question about the joint patrols in Okinawa. When arrests occur under these patrols, the notification to Japanese authorities under the SOFA has not been carried out. We confirmed with the U.S. forces, and they said that notification to Japanese authorities is not necessary. And the U.S. mentioned Article 17(1)A of SOFA and Item 5A of Agreement on Criminal Jurisdiction as grounds for that. But neither of these provisions states the reasons that notification is not necessary. This appears to be an expansive interpretation. I'd like to hear your views. I also would like to hear your views about U.S. military exercising police authority outside the bases. The Japan-U.S. Joint Regional Safety Patrol in the Okinawa so far is based on crime prevention patrols conducted by the local community associations and crime prevention associations with the participation of Okinawa Prefectural Police and U.S. forces. I understand this places importance on enlightenment activities. The U.S. forces, including notification to the Japanese authorities, they're supposed to be able to use military police within the U.S. forces facilities and outside the facilities based on conditions stipulated under SOFA. So for patrols conducted so far, I understand this is based on cooperation, based on communication among those related, so that this will be conducted in a way consistent with SOFA. However, cases that may violate the Japanese law and the liberty system case set by the U.S. forces, I think there are both cases. If that is a violation of Japanese law, of course, there must be proper notification. But the violation of the liberty system, how is that going to be handled? It is possible that there was no detailed coordination about that. And what is important is that the measures to prevent recurrence announced by the U.S. side so far must lead to actual prevention of accidents of incidents. So including cases under the joint patrol, I intend to continue to thoroughly approach U.S. forces in Japan for their enforcement of discipline and prevention measures.
NXTV. Lee, now concerning Taiwan, I would like to ask for your views on Taiwan. Last week, the LDP Council, Mr. Aso Taro, vis-a-vis the Taiwanese people, said that Taiwan is a state. To Taiwanese people who came to Japan, he said that Taiwan is a state that shares common values with Japan, and that statement means that Japan recognizes Taiwan as a state. What is the stance of the Japanese government concerning Taiwan? So, Mr. Aso Taro's comments, what is your view on his comments? Now, Mr. Aso Taro's comment, I am not aware of that, so I would like to refrain from commenting. But based on that, concerning Taiwan, our government's basic stance is that in 1972, based on the Japan-China joint statement, as we will maintain working party, non-government working party relations, and this remains unchanged.
Sasayama-san from Asahi Shimbun. My name is Sasayama from Asahi Shimbun. Prime Minister Ishiba visited Korea today. I would like to ask a question about it. It seems that his administration is accepted in Korea. What is the reason why he's being accepted in South Korea? And what is important for Japan in terms of its relations with South Korea? Though we have a good relationship, issues like perception history may resurge. And if such issues resurge, are we in a stable relationship such as thick ice where we can continue with dialogue, or is our relationship on top of a thin ice? Prime Minister Ishiba being accepted, I believe that the Ishiba administration has good relations with a new administration in South Korea. Japan and ROK are important neighbors that should cooperate as partners on various important issues of international community. Under the current strategic environment, Japan-ROK relations and Japan-US-ROK relations is becoming even more important. As for the Ishiba administration, based on this understanding, the administration has been closely communicating with the Korean government. Since the start of a new government in Korea in June, in July we had the visit of Foreign Minister Cho Hyung, and then last month we had the visit of President Lee Jae-myung as the first foreign place of his visit after becoming a president. And today, as a shuttle diplomacy, Prime Minister Ishiba is visiting Busan in South Korea. So Japan-ROK relations at the moment is well, and I think we are on top of a very thick ice. I attended the Japan-ROK leaders meeting. It was a very friendly dialogue. And in Busan, I believe that it is possible to have an even better dialogue. Both leaders, at the previous leaders' meeting, based on the basis of Japan-ROK relations that was developed ever since normalization of diplomatic relations of 1965, they agreed that bilateral relations is future-oriented and stable and should greatly develop. It is true that there are difficulties because we are neighbors, but letting that aside, I believe that bilateral relations is at the moment advancing in a very good way. For difficult issues, we must have very delicate talks in the future. And going forward, I believe it is important to have firm communications between the two countries.
Are there any other questions? Asahi Shimbun, please. Now I'd like to ask about the presidential elections of the LDP. The LDP presidential elections is likely to go into a runoff. So in the past, there have been cases where a candidate who had the advantage in party member votes was defeated by reversal in the votes of diet members. So a similar reversal could occur this time. So when that does happen, what is your view? No, this is hypothetical, so it's very difficult for me to respond. The LDP presidential elections is that the mechanism thereof has been improved many times, and I believe that the present system reflects the voices of the party members. The first vote has the same weight as the diet members' votes. However, if no candidate gains a majority, then the diet members and the representatives of 47 prefectural party members will be involved in the runoff voting. So this will be done based on rules. And the results will be made clear after that. So I cannot say whether it's good or bad. Because if you look at the overall scheme, the mechanism compared to past way of voting, the voices of the party members closer to the population is more reflected. So based on rules, the next president will be elected.
Any other questions? If not, this concludes today's press conference. Thank you very much.